Alright, so yeah, if you currently watch all kind of camera related videos here on YouTube, you probably noticed that all these videos are about mirrorless cameras. So cameras like the Canon EOS R5, R6, or all kind of Sony cameras, for example. And yes, I personally use these kind of cameras as well because I absolutely love them. But I actually started back then with the Canon 80D DSLR, and no one actually talks about these kind of cameras anymore. And exactly that's why I want to talk about DSLRs a little bit, and especially the question, are DSLRs dead? So let's talk about that. Okay, so what's up everybody and welcome back to another video on this channel, and I hope you all had a fantastic day. And yes, today I want to talk about DSLRs a little bit. Because yeah, everyone sets the focus on those nice mirrorless cameras right now, and I feel like that it might be not the best option for everyone right now. So let's talk about a couple of things that are in my opinion extremely important, especially if you think about to buy DSLR or mirrorless camera next. And the first topic that we need to talk about is the crop factor. So yes, the crop factor is actually one of the most common topics in the camera niche, because especially in the video area, everyone hates the crop because you always need to think twice which lens is actually the way to go for a specific shot. So for example, if you're a vlogger and you want to use the 24-105mm lens on a crop camera body, it is not a 24-105. Because in most cases this lens becomes a 36-157mm lens if the camera uses a 1.5 crop factor. So yeah, especially if you use a crop camera body, you need to keep the crop factor in your mind all the time before you choose a lens for your next shooting. But actually this downside can be an advantage as well, and especially if you're, let's say, a wildlife photographer. In this case you can't get really close to all these animals to take photos. So especially in this case what you need are some good telephoto lenses that allow you to take pictures from far away. So if you use a DSLM without any crop factor, you need a specific lens, so let's say a 100-500mm lens for example. And if we take a look at the Canon RF version as an example, we can clearly see that this lens costs around 3,000 euro, and that's a lot of money. But in contrast to that, if you use a DSLR, you can use a crop factor as an advantage. So in this case you can easily use a 70-200 for example, because that's now with a 1.5 crop factor, a 105-300mm lens. In the end you can easily buy different lenses that can be way cheaper if you know that the crop factor actually gives you a good range for these kind of shots. So yeah, especially if you're a wildlife, event or sports photographer, a DSLR can be the better option because of the crop factor. But now let's move on to the next reason why I think that DSLRs can be the better option, and here we need to talk about lenses. So especially if you take a look at all kind of mirrorless lenses, you will notice that most of them are really expensive and you simply won't have a huge range of opportunities right now. Of course, yeah, don't get me wrong here, we already got a lot of new lenses, especially for the RF mount as an example, but in contrast to the old EF mount and the overall DSLR market, we are still at the beginning of this whole journey. Right now we mostly got those high-end premium lenses that are really good, but most of the people can't afford a lens that costs 2,500 euro. So yeah, especially in this case the DSLR can be the better option because of the variety of brands and lenses that are already out there, even in lower price categories. So yeah, from cheap to high-end, everything is just out there, and there's a huge market for used lenses as well, so you don't have to buy all kind of new lenses. I actually bought my 70-200 here used as well because it's in such a good condition and it was actually really cheap. And that's a perfect opportunity to talk about the third reason, and here we need to talk about beginner photography. So yeah, I think that the current mirrorless market isn't actually beginner friendly, and that's because we're just getting started here. But especially if you want to get into photography right now, I think the best and cheapest option is still a DSLR because of the overall price structure and the variety of lenses that are out there. In my opinion, DSLRs are a perfect opportunity today because in these days you can get a great bundle fairly cheap, and the overall quality of these cameras and lenses is just really good. And exactly that's why I think that DSLRs are still worth it, especially if you're a beginner photographer. In my opinion, it is way better if you make the jump later on to the mirrorless cameras as soon as you know what kind of gear and lenses you actually need. But yeah, what do you think about DSLRs? Do you use one, or do you think that DSLRs are dead? Let me know that in the comments. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay updated for our upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next video.